Today, we are breaking down one of the wildest, most unhinged breakup stories in human history. We are talking about the American Revolutionary War. This is the epic showdown where a group of 13 scrappy colonies looked at the biggest, baddest empire on Earth, Great Britain, and said, "Yeah, we're done. It's not us. It's definitely you." We're going to explore how a massive argument over tea and taxes turned into an all-out 8-year-long battle for freedom. You'll see how a bunch of regular farmers somehow outsmarted a giant military powerhouse to create a brand new country called the United States. So strap in, because this history lesson is about to do some absolute side quests. So picture this. It's the mid-1700s, and Great Britain is basically the ultimate strict parent of the 13 colonies. Britain had just gotten into a massive, super expensive fight with France. They won, but their royal bank account was completely unalived. So King George III looks over at the colonies and decides they need to pay for his massive mess. He starts slapping taxes on literally everything: paper, glass, paint, and worst of all, their beloved tea. The colonists were absolutely furious. They were like, "Hold on a second. You're making us pay for all this stuff, but we don't even get a seat at your fancy government table to complain about it?" They called this no taxation without representation. It was basically like your parents giving you a massive list of chores, forcing you to pay for your own dinner, and then locking you out of the house. So the colonists decided it was time to do something completely unhinged to get Britain's attention. On a freezing December night in 1773, a group of colonists called the Sons of Liberty decided to throw the most chaotic party in history. They disguised themselves, snuck onto British cargo ships docked in Boston Harbor, and straight up yeeted 342 chests of valuable British tea directly into the ocean. This wasn't just a little splash. They ruined millions of dollars worth of tea. The ocean literally looked like a giant, salty cup of English breakfast tea. King George went absolutely ballistic. He put Boston on a giant adult timeout, closing the harbor and sending thousands of heavily armed British soldiers, nicknamed Redcoats, to control the streets. The tension was building up like a volcano ready to blow. Both sides were staring each other down, waiting to see who would make the first move. Until April 1775, in two tiny towns called Lexington and Concord, someone pulled a trigger. To this day, nobody knows who shot first, but it became known as the shot heard round the world. The war was officially on. By 1776, the colonies realized they couldn't just keep arguing with the king. They needed to break up for real. So, a squad of super smart guys, including Thomas Jefferson and Benjamin Franklin, sat down to write the ultimate breakup letter. We call it the Declaration of Independence. This wasn't just a casual note. It basically said, "Look, King George, all people have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You've been a total bully, so we are officially starting our own country." On July 4th, 1776, they signed it. Talk about a high-stakes move. Signing that paper meant they were officially traitors to the king. If they lost the war, it was game over for all of them. To lead their brand new, untrained army against the British powerhouse, they picked a tall, serious general with a legendary reputation, George Washington. Now, on paper, the Americans should have been absolutely wrecked. The British Army was the gold standard of the world, highly trained, perfectly equipped, and wearing bright, polished uniforms. Meanwhile, Washington's army was a total ragtag group of regular farmers, shoemakers, and teenagers. They didn't have enough shoes, blankets, or even gunpowder. During the freezing winter at a place called Valley Forge, the American soldiers were literally leaving bloody footprints in the snow because their shoes had completely fallen apart. It looked like curtains for the revolution. But the Americans had two major secret weapons. First, they knew the land perfectly because it was their backyard. Second, they weren't fighting for a king. They were fighting for their own homes and freedom. They started using sneaky, fast-paced hide-and-seek tactics instead of marching in straight lines like the British. They were playing completely outside the box. Just when things were looking grim, the Americans pulled off a massive plot twist. They won a huge battle at Saratoga, proving they actually had a chance. Seeing this, France looked at Britain and said, "Hey, we still don't like you," and decided to officially join the American squad. France sent ships, money, and professional soldiers to back up Washington. Fast forward to 1781, and the entire war comes down to a peninsula called Yorktown, Virginia. Washington's army trapped the British forces on the land, while the French Navy blocked them completely by sea. The British military was totally surrounded, pinned down like a video game boss with zero health left. With nowhere to run and no supplies coming, the British General Lord Cornwallis had to do the unthinkable. He waved the white flag and surrendered. The underdogs had actually done it. In 1783, both sides signed the Treaty of Paris, officially ending the fight. Great Britain finally recognized that the United States of America was a free, independent country. Against all odds, a group of regular people overthrew the world's biggest superpower to protect their rights. They proved that when people stand together for freedom, even the most impossible obstacles can be overcome. So, to recap, don't steal a nation's tea, don't give a whole country an unfair chore chart, and never underestimate a determined underdog. If you want to keep your brain from doing side quests and learn more wild history stories, smash that follow button for K6 Learning Lab. I will see you guys next time.